this is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so this episode was pretty down to the wire. So it quickly becomes apparent that there aren't many spots left. There's only like 20 by the time it gets to the second half of the episode. So notably, Uraraka, Sero, and Deku all pass. They formulate a plan using a combination of Sero's tape quirk and Uraraka's anti-gravity quirk to lay tape traps for everybody. And then pin them to the ground, which enables the three of them to actually pass their exam. But the more important one is the fight with Seiji. So, according to Seiji's dialogue, he believes that it's his job to wean out the people who are less than fit to become heroes, and points out that since the hero exam seems to be doing that already, he thought he would help them take a second step. And during the fight, he manages to get a sneak attack off on Bakugo, who is revealed to be using a weaker version of his AP shot to avoid hitting his classmates and to avoid hitting Kirishima, but he winds up getting captured anyway, leaving only Kanemaru to deal with it. So Kanemaru tries to use this new little gadget thing that he's got on his wrist to launch some discs at Seiji, but he winds up missing. And Seiji starts boasting about how he knows all about Kanemaru's quirk and how it works, and believes that he won't be able to actually hit him without frying his classmates. And case in point, Kanemaru proves him wrong by proving that his new gadget actually focuses the electricity provided he's in range, and sure enough is able to nail Seiji with a precise shot. And then points out that both of them work real hard to become heroes, and that Seiji doesn't know anything. And sure enough, as he temporarily loses focus, and that's just enough to get Bakugo and Kirishima back up on the count, and they knock him out and then tag him. At which point all the other students he's captured wake up as well, and in the confusion they manage to tag them all and pass the exam. And then meet up with Deku's group, and they all celebrate except for Deku and Bakugo. And Bakugo reveals that realizes now that Deku wasn't lying about the fact that he's borrowed a quirk. So yeah, he figured it out, and now Bakugo is one of the people who knows. So yeah, that's a main plot point that came up in this episode. But with that, there's only 20 spots left, and then it gets further reduced to 10. And at this point there are only 11 students from UA who have passed, and there are 9 who still haven't. In case in point, we see the rest of them actually work together in the final scene. So Aoyama is off by himself. He's lost, he's confused, and he's got 2 of his targets tagged already. And eventually Ida comes and finds him, and when Aoyama asks why he came to find him in the first place instead of trying to focus on passing his exam, Ida points out that he doesn't really care about passing the exam as long as he makes his brother proud, and that's really what his dream is when he decided to become a hero. So Aoyama, inspired by that, actually uses his belly button quirk while they're in the middle of a bunch of enemies and a bunch of other students trying to pass their exams. Actually uses his navel laser to draw attention to himself, so that pointing out that his dream is to stand out as remarkable alongside the other remarkable people in his class. So that would explain why he tries so hard. He wants everybody to be impressed by him and wants everybody to recognize him as their equal. It's clear that Aoyama suffers from he suffers from self-doubt. He suffers from he doesn't believe he's as good as he thinks he could be, and he wants to prove himself wrong. But case in point, in addition to calling every single student in the immediate area to his location, he also manages to call the remaining 7 students from Class 1A, who all work together to tag everybody out, and then Cammy snags up one of the last remaining spots while they're working on that. So yeah, the last 10 students to pass are the remainder of Class 1A and Cammy. So those 10 all wind up passing. But yeah, that is how the episode ends, with all of them passing, and then it's revealed what the second half of the exam is. They now have to do rescue training. So the second half is rescue training, and we're going to see how that works for the next episode. But overall, this episode was actually kind of interesting. So we got to see some sides of some of the characters we haven't seen before. Like we've seen Kaminari actually trying to improve himself because he realizes that his quirk is just a little bit dangerous and doesn't really have much focus to it. So he actually wound up working on that by having a new gadget that enables him to specifically target individual areas and fire his lightning there rather than all at once all around him. So yeah, and we also see that Aoyama is actually suffering from self-doubt, as we see in this episode, and he works toward fixing that after realizing that Class 1A does indeed care about him just as much as he cares about them. So he does work on fixing that in this episode as well. But yeah, this episode overall was just people coming to terms with who they are in Class 1A, and that's really all it needed to be. So yeah, but now it comes to the question of how are people going to do in the second half of the exam. I have no idea how that's going to play out, but play out it will, so we'll see you next week. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys did indeed enjoy the episode, let me know in the comments or over in my Discord server, link in the description. But also be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below as well, to keep up to date with what's going on with the channel and all that good stuff. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way of saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Again, only a couple bucks a month. Help me out, and I'll help you guys out in turn. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!